Now, one of the key things with using seasonal outlooks is that I really think that you need to get a little bit of an understanding on what the key drivers of the climate are, because it helps you understand when you read the notes and the summary notes, what is actually being spoken of. So for New South Wales, there are really 4 key drivers of climate, particularly for the Hunter: El Nino, La Nina, Indian Ocean Dipole, Southern Annular Mode, and also the MaddenJulian oscillation. Now, these are all impacting rainfall and temperature across New South Wales at different times of the year. So let's look at some of the individual information on each of those things. Now, fortunately, the Bureau of Meteorology have recently created a new page called Climate Driver. So it basically sets out what the forecast models are saying is going to occur for the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean, the Southern Ocean, and the tropics. So that's those 4 key indicators in the climate. MaddenJulian oscillation is the tropics, Southern Annular Mode is the Southern Ocean, Indian Ocean is the Indian Ocean dipole, and the Pacific Ocean is the El Nino Southern Oscillation. So let's go through them. Most of us have heard El Nino, Southern Oscillation Index, and La Nina. And basically, it's related to the movement of warm water. When we have the warm waters sitting in the Western Pacific, so that's along our east coast, that typically leads to increased rainfall. When it sits over off the Eastern Pacific, so South America, we typically have cooler waters, so that means less rainfall. And then the Indian Ocean Dipole is basically that same system, but it sits in the Indian Ocean. It's the movement of warm waters from off the coast of Africa through to the coast of Australia. Again, when we have the warm waters off the west coast, we're seeing above average, or typically would lead to above average rainfall. When we get the cooler waters, like we experienced last year, then we see less rainfall. Now, the MaddenJulian oscillation, this is a tropical system. It's basically a wave of instability that moves off the African continent. It traverses the equator, and as it moves through or moves towards us, it increases the instability through the atmosphere. Now, what that does is it can lead to increased monsoonal activity, tropical cyclones, and some of that moisture can be brought down into New South Wales, and it can bring the potential of some widespread heavy rainfall. The Southern Annular Mode is basically an interaction of winds between the upper atmosphere and the lower parts of the stratosphere. And basically what this does is it means that cold fronts will either be closer to the mainland or they'll be further south from the mainland. Again, that's affecting the amount of moisture that we see from these cold fronts. In years where they're less active, we typically see less rainfall. Now, added to the climate outlooks is climate change. Temperatures have increased over 1 degree across Australia, so that's in the atmosphere and also in the oceans. So that is already incorporated into the climate outlook models. It is worth noting, this is the Hunter region. These are the projected changes, so increasing temperatures, increasing fire dangers, decreasing snowfall about the higher parts, decreasing winter rainfall, increasing in autumn though through some areas, and staying pretty much the same through spring and summer potentially, and also generally increasing temperatures right across the region. So this is all incorporated into those climate outlooks.